Hey there, survivors. How's it going? I'm your host, Douglas here at Drawaway Productions, bringing you yet again another Trick or Treat Studios mask review. And today I'm excited to continue our journey taking a look at different Trick or Treat Studios products by continuing to take a look at R.L. Stine pieces. But today I'm very excited to say that we're making a return to Goosebumps. So viewer beware, you're in for a scare. In previous years, I've done some reviews on a majority of the latex TV series Goosebumps pieces that have been put out by Trick or Treat Studios. However, since then, we've gotten an entirely new line of Goosebumps masks that are more so based on book designs, and I'm very excited to take a look at those. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm very excited to take a look at this line of masks, and it took me a little while to figure out which one I wanted to look at first. But I think there's only one clear choice, and it's Curly the Skeleton. This piece is really, really cool. I'm gonna be saying that about all these Goosebumps pieces. I'm a huge Goosebumps fan, and these masks are all pretty incredible. But this has to be one of my favorites in the entire series. Curly, of course, is pretty much the mascot for Goosebumps. He was created a while ago to be the recurring character on Goosebumps merchandise. He, of course, does have a place in the series as well. His initial design does look a good bit different from this, so you will see him in some early issues of the books with a completely different look. But this, of course, is the true iconic Curly design that we're all used to seeing on the different Goosebumps merchandise pieces. Now, as I mentioned previously, Trick or Treat Studios put out some latex Goosebumps pieces, and I think they also did a couple of vacuform plastic pieces that were technically book artwork as well, but these are full over-the-head vinyl masks, and the quality feel is just an insane difference. Now, for some people, vinyl is going to be a good thing, and for some it's going to be a bad thing. Of course, if you have latex allergies, coming across a vinyl mask like this is a godsend if you want to have a really, really cool Halloween costume, because there are people out there with latex allergies that cannot enjoy a majority of the masks that many of us like to wear for these different cosplays or just Halloween costumes. So having vinyl options is always a plus. However, for people out there that do like to repaint and customize their own masks, repainting vinyl is a little bit trickier than repainting latex. So that could be something you run into if you like customizing your own masks. But overall, as a mask collector for longevity, a vinyl mask is much, much better. Of course, latex rots, and there are many things that can accelerate that rot, whether it be heat, sweat, any number of factors can make your mask rot away a little bit quicker. But vinyl masks, for the most part, will be here to stay unless they are destroyed somehow. Now that I'm done mentioning the pros and cons of vinyl versus latex, let's actually take a look at Curly here. The sculpt is really, really nicely done. From a front angle, it looks really cool. Very fun, but also pretty menacing. The furrowing in his brow here does make him look pretty angry. His spectacles are a little flat, and the bridge of the nose here, like the paintwork on the wiring, is a little shoddy, unfortunately, but overall, the rest of it looks really, really good. Of course, hair-wise, he has a full sculpted hairpiece. It's not actual hair, I'm sure you can tell, but that is a plus on a vinyl mask in my opinion. If this would have been like punched in, this would not have held up well over time and even through shipping. So I'm really glad they went the sculpted route on this versus doing punched in hair that's styled. And on the back here, of course, you can see his mohawk turns into a ponytail. And we do have the Goosebumps splatter stamp logo, which is great to see. I absolutely love that. I believe that was also on the parachute press masks, which is another interesting point, that technically we have had some vinyl Goosebumps masks in the past. However, those were child-sized masks. I believe this is technically Curly's second vinyl mask, but this is definitely adult-sized and maybe even a bit oversized. I have not tried any of these on, but they are pretty huge. So now that we've talked about the sculpt, let's talk about the paint application. For the hair, it is pretty basic, just straight, flat, pink. No highlights or anything there. I believe we did have some highlights on the parachute press mask, but I actually prefer just the straight pink look, if I'm being honest. The shading on the skull itself looks really, really nice. It's not too harsh. It definitely looks to be accurately painted. There's not, you know, shadows in areas where there shouldn't be. Overall, this thing looks like it was really, really well done. Now, whenever it comes to some more of the hand-painted details, like the spectacles and stuff like that, you know, there is paint missing in a few areas, and some of it, you know, a little overlapping, but that can be expected with mass-produced pieces. The teeth as well, you can definitely see all the brush strokes in it. It looks like it probably could have used a second coat, but overall, yet again, for a mass-produced piece, this is something you can kind of expect. But you know, I'm just pointing out details here. Around the eyes as well, I do think maybe we could have gotten a little darker shading around the eyes there, but that's just, you know, personal critique. Since these masks are a little bit harder to fix up yourself, I feel like making critiques about paintwork and stuff like that is very reasonable. As far as comfort level, you do have 2 large nose holes punched here, and on either side of the mouth here, in the jaw, there are some breathing holes, and you do have tiny little holes right in the center of the pupils for the eyes. And looking at the inside of the mask here, it does have a full vacuform plastic insert. Helping your mask keep it shaped like that is really, really nice. So for collectors, for shipping, either way, having these inserts is a huge plus, and I'm really happy to see that even Funworld has started putting inserts in most of their masks. I'm not sure if I mentioned this either, but I really would have liked if they did do like the little reflections in the glasses with some little white paint lines. I feel like that was a really nice touch on the parachute press mask that looks a little bit flat here. It kind of just looks like he has blue lenses. But overall, it still is a great mask and definitely a vast improvement to the parachute press mask in my opinion. That one had some very weird airbrushed dots all over it, and the sculpture did look more just like a generic skull. It also didn't have eyeballs, which may have been a bit better for vision, but for a piece to put on the shelf, this is definitely the way to go. Alright everyone, we reached the point in the video where I typically like to go ahead and take a look at the excerpt directly from the Trick or Treat Studios website, just to give you all a little bit more information directly from the source. So here we have the Goosebumps Curly Mask in vinyl, and it says, sculpted by Alexander Ray. Alexander, you did a fantastic job on these. I absolutely love them. They make me so happy. I'm very excited about these. Moving right along, Trick or Treat Studios is proud to present the officially licensed Goosebumps Curly Mask. This amazing mask is inspired by the longtime mascot and coolest skeleton in the graveyard, Curly. So get ready for the book fair and get your Curly mask today. Absolutely fantastic. Or should I say, scholastic. All jokes and critiques aside, these are fantastic masks, and they're a little bit cheaper than your standard latex masks. Typically, latex masks are sitting around $60 to $70, whereas these are currently only $50. So if you're interested in adding one of these to your collection, or if you're just interested in dressing as Curly, the coolest skeleton in the graveyard, go ahead and pick one of these up directly from Trick or Treat Studios or one of the many different retailers that carries their products. And with that being said, I think that about does it for today's video. I love you all. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for even more Trick or Treat Studios reviews coming very soon.